Hello there. This is Kathy Rosewood Jonas, licensed clinical social worker.
And Jennifer Dziubanek, I'm also a licensed clinical social worker.
And we're both from Epic Healing Eugene and Radiant Heart Consulting. And we're both licensed facilitators with the state of Oregon for psilocybin. So this is our opportunity to get to know more of our facilitators on our team. Jennifer is one of our senior licensed facilitators, and I'm hoping, Jennifer, you can tell us a little bit about you and your style of how you work with clients.
Well, with working with clients in the psilocybin space, I do take a non-directive approach, just like the state requires. But I like to, think of really using the preparation time to get to know my clients that I'm working with, learn as much as I can about, how they see themselves and their world around them, in order for me to be more in tune to how to hold space for them. And then during the session, when they're under the influence of psilocybin, psilocybin is really the teacher in the room. And I just try to sit in the corner and kind of meditate to be mindful of the energy I put out, and then also be in tune to the energy that is unfolding in this space so I can be as supportive as possible in that arena.
Great. So you mentioned preparation. So something over here at Epic is every client gets 3 hours of preparation. So it is kind of a nice opportunity to get to know people. Now, something that Jennifer and I share is we co-facilitate our monthly trauma and transformation group, which is a free offering that we offer to all of our clients. So I'd like to ask Jennifer for clients that are coming into this work with having a history of trauma and or different life struggles, do you have any advice on how people might approach working with psilocybin and getting ready for this kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. When someone is so impacted by trauma, there could be a lot internally going on. And so, my advice would be to simply be gentle with yourself as you are uncovering all of the hurts that you have encountered and finding a more meaningful way to move forward. And so, it's kind of a be gentle with yourself, but also challenge yourself enough to grow into the human that you deserve to be.
Mm. So you're really speaking to a little bit of bravery
Yeah.
that somebody would benefit from bringing up, from within themselves, of igniting that. Do you have any hints on how somebody might start this path that is really afraid but it really wants to do a psilocybin experience?
Mm. I would say play around with ways you can kind of release stress from your mind and body. It can really help you connect to yourself and other things that hold meaning for you. And so, some of the ways that people can do that is, by spending some time in nature and not being so wrapped up with what's internally going on, but also developing a relationship with a non judgmental entity like nature, and to just be in that space and attend to your heart in any way that makes sense for you.
So what I'm hearing you say, if I was going to phrase that in another way, is to find opportunities to return to the present moment.
Yeah.
And so just building on that, do you have any other hints of how a person might get some traction in returning to the present moment, kind of those baby steps of easing into these kind of experiences, which they seem like they're baby steps, but they're actually huge steps.
Yeah, they are
Yeah,
huge steps.
take you very far.
hmm One thing that I personally like to do is I have a meditation practice. But a lot of times I find that when people don't already have a meditation practice, that can be really difficult to get into as well. And so there is a mindfulness activity called the 5-4-3-2-1 that
Mm.
can really help people be more in tune to their external environment in that moment. And so to kind of break down what that is you just kind of point out or even name to yourself or out loud 5 things that you can see. And then you can do 4 things that you hear, 3 things that you can feel, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a very helpful strategy so can you just review it really quick just for people that need to hear it one more time? Because I do.
Sure. And I will also encourage people to not feel like they have to memorize that either.
Okay.
And so you're just engaging all 5 of your senses, and you're going to be doing the 5 things. You can actually mix it up however you want.
Okay.
And so if you are more of a feeler, you can do 5 things that you feel
Oh, great.
instead of 5 things that you see.
Great.
And then go for your second sense that you like. So it could be 4 things that you hear, or maybe it's 4 things that you can see.
Uh-huh.
It could also be 4 things that you can smell.
Mm-hmm.
Taste is often the trickiest one, though.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that.
Yeah, and so that's why we usually leave that for the last. But you could always, if you are wanting to challenge yourself, do 5 things that you can taste for sure. That would probably be more helpful when you're doing some mindful eating.
Yeah.
And so don't feel like you have to remember the order.
Okay.
Just remember that you're engaging 5 senses and just counting down from 5 all the way to 1. And whichever scent you want to engage in on whatever number you are at is just fine.
Yeah, well, I can see that because it's number 1 starts slowing down the mind. It puts from the mind moving into the body, moving into the present moment, moving into this time of awareness and trusting yourself in your own awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other little tidbit before we end this video, Jennifer, that you can offer for people wanting to engage in a psychedelic experience or maybe even integrating one?
Yeah. When all else fails, I always like to remember to keep moving, keep our bodies moving. It can help just release stress from our bodies. We often store trauma in our bodies. It can be in the simplest of ways if we're not able to move around that much. It could even be something as far as moving our hips while we're brushing our teeth. Just any sort of movement that we can do in our body can help us keep going mentally and physically.
Well, that's great. So it kind of reminds me of like even stretching. You can't really avoid getting into your body when you're actually stretching or when you're taking a walk in nature, that it is moving the body and also again connecting with that inner self, which is so important for having a psychedelic connection too. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for coming on this little time of getting to know you a little bit more. So this is Jennifer Dziubanek.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.